Hey everybody, what's going on? Let's talk about another mastery tool, a resource that I want to share with you. And it's part of the mastery journey. So I want you to implement this as soon as you can. It's journaling. It's so funny that journaling can conjure up so much emotions around doing this simple act. You're always hearing me saying, don't get through life, get from life. Don't get through a challenge that's happening right now. Get from it. Because you see, here's the thing. If you're going to go through it and just get through it, you're going to repeat it again. Trust me on that, because there was zero lesson learned from that. Maybe a little bit. I'll give you a little bit of credit for that. You might have learned something the hard way by slugging through. Or we could get from it. And that means that you're going to take the pain, and it's coming anyways, regardless if you like it or not. And you're going to get something from it. You're going to grow from it. You're going to let it strengthen you. It's like the gym. Okay, you can show up at the gym and just check the box that I showed up. I see a lot of people did that in my day. They'd be there for years, and then nothing's changed because they never got from it. They just showed up, check a box, did it for social reasons or whatever it might be, but never checked it. But those who got from it, they went through the pain and they learned and grew, and you can see the changes happening. So it's no different from our lives, our personal lives, our emotional lives, our spiritual lives. Listen, pain and challenge and struggle, it's not a if you go through it, it's a when you go through it. So if you're going to go through it, might as well do it. Might as well lean into it and get from it. And if it shows up again, and it probably will, the same type, but you'll handle this like a badass. You'll take care of business and have strategies and tools to deal with it. But I tell you, if you get through it, just struggle, you'll keep doing that. You know those lessons that you see those people repeat patterns over and over and over again? You wonder, why do you keep doing this same pattern? Well, they got through it. They got through the relationship. They got through the illness. They got through the money problems. They got through whatever, the sport, the loss. They just got through it. They didn't get from it. Because that's how, they say champions aren't really made if they just keep winning. They're made if they come back from a challenge. Those are the ones we remember. We don't remember the fighter, for instance, who went, 50 and 0 and it was easy. No, we remember the ones who came back. Muhammad Ali, just take Muhammad Ali. He came back. He was repeated. He went down. He came back. And those things made him great. That's what made him great. So we want that greatness in our own lives. So we have to get from the experience. And there's no better way than journaling and reflecting back. So, when you take a look at journaling and the power it brings to reflection, journaling allows you to reflect, to go back and look at patterns that you've created that you don't even know you created. Because remember, you can't see the frame of the picture that you're in. You cannot see it. This is why we are so brilliant, absolutely brilliant, genius at helping everybody else, pointing out everybody else's problems. You're so slick. You're thinking to yourself, man, I can't believe I came up with that solution. That was awesome. I'm patting yourself on the back how brilliant you are at helping. Meanwhile, you're left to your own devices and you're a mess. You're a hot mess because you can't see your stuff. This is why I have coaches, and I will forever have coaches, and they're not friends. Because friends will always support you in your journey. Oh, yeah, you're right, man. Oh, you're great. You're great. You're awesome. You're awesome. Maybe. Or you have some who don't tell you that you're doing well. But what we want is objectivity. We want someone who can tell us our breath stinks when it stinks, and give us a breath mint if they have to, and just advise you non-emotional and strategically, and then take that away and apply it. So journaling for me is a place I put my thoughts. It's a place I I can go and reflect, and then look back at patterns. For instance, when I was going through in my book Journey to Personal Greatness, I talk about financial being connected with spiritual. I put both together because there's not a lack of money in this world and abundance. No. You've seen people who have made $80 million, for instance. Terrell Owens, the football player. I saw him on Dr. Phil. And Dr. Phil was chasing him down, asking him, looking for his baby mothers were searching for him. And he was in the basement apparently in Buffalo where his mom lived. And so he got on Dr. Phil and he asked him, "Hey, do you know how much you made in your career?" And he kind of shrugged the question off and he said, "I do." Dr. Phil said, "I do. You made $80 million and now you're living in your mom's basement." You see, but I'm not pointing out only Terrell Owens. This happens to 70+% of elite athletes who came from nothing and now they are abundant. It's almost like same amount of percentage with lottery winners. Lottery winners have a high amount of losses, 70+% as well. You see, when you've been given abundance, money you've been praying for, but you're not ready to receive it because you have issues going on around money, you will squander it and you'll make up legitimate excuses why you didn't have it or why someone stole it or why someone took it. See, I realized that. I started to look at my patterns when I was going through some money struggles. I went, man, how can I be here again? So I went back and reviewed my journals from years ago, and I keep seeing the same pattern. I make a lot of money, but my money thermostat says, hey, do something about it. And it unconsciously. And so guess what I do? I do legitimate things. I don't just give it away. But here's what I do. I put investments that I know won't work. I take chances. I take, a thrill. I'm a thrill seeker. So I'll go do something that jeopardizes it, and now I'm back again. But did I know it was a pattern? No, because I legitimized it. I said, I'm taking a chance to move forward. You got to take chances. I made excuses, right? And I didn't gamble, I thought, but I was gambling, really. And sure enough, the loss came and I was back to where I was struggling, where I recognized, right? So money came in, and I've seen this with many people, made money beyond their imagination. But then guess what? Bad luck happens. And all of a sudden, poor me, it's them, it's not me. See what I'm saying? So if you're not looking at patterns in anything, what gets measured will improve typically. So how does it get measured? Subjective experiences. Well, we put it on paper and we start to watch patterns of ourselves. So journaling, how do we do this? And I know I've met some people who have advised on journaling. Here's their excuse. Well, what if someone reads it? What do I put in there? They're afraid of putting their thoughts, maybe guilt or shame or whatever it might be. If you're going through that, if that's a roadblock for you, then put pictures, images, only you will know. But at least when you see those things, it triggers that experience, and then you can maybe draw the solution or put a symbol up for the solution or symbol of the advice. That way it doesn't look so shameful. And if somebody picks it up, but you just cannot leave that energy, negative energy cyst lying in your unconscious. You have to get it out so you can look at it, extrapolate on it, mix it up, dissect it, and then make it right. So, journaling, what you can do with a journal, and I used to love going into Chapters or Barnes and Noble when I'm in the US or wherever, and I loved grabbing a new journal. It almost is art for me. See, my journals too, by the way, they don't have lines in them because of my creativity. I love a blank. I almost get art books that are made for drawing because I don't like lines in my mind. So I get away from lined journals and I'm into those journals that are even on wax paper and it looks like an old script. And I love that. I love new pens and I love to write out my goals and my visions. And so for me, a journal is essential so I can reflect, so I can get my emotions out, my feelings, and get them on paper. Because in your head, my goodness, in your head, the molehill becomes the mountain. And so, in order to reduce that mountain, that Mount Everest, put it on paper. Then it doesn't look so bad. Then you have a 40,000 foot view of the quote unquote roadblock or the problem. In your head, though, that thing's a gorilla. It's a monster. And it just keeps on hounding you because you haven't got it out of the cage. You got to take it out, pet it, make it friendly, be friends with it, and then talk to it. And this thing eventually will start to calm down and you can make sense of it. So, journaling, get your favorite, get whatever, and go to your quiet space. Pick a space, or in the mornings. I love the mornings again. I'm a morning guy. Morning, the sun hasn't come up yet. It's quiet, it's dark, and I know everything is at peace. My family's safe, my house is safe, and it's quiet. And I journal on the day. What happened yesterday? What was the lesson yesterday? There's always a lesson, by the way. Life's always throwing us lessons. So what happened yesterday? Then I write it out. What did I learn from it? And I start to write that out. And what am I going to do tomorrow to make that better? I write that out. So those three formats, what happened? What are you going to do about it? What lesson did you learn about it? And how can you use it to allow you to grow? And then you close it out. You put your date on it. Put all the particulars on it, the date, the time, and what happened. And again, you can put symbols, you can draw on it, you can put pictures. I have a digital one, journal now as used as well, called Day One. And my timer is from Franklin Covey, and it allows me to write in there as well. So I write, I put it in digital. The digital journal allows me to put pictures and images and reflect on those. So it's yours to play. Play with it. It's your resource for mastery. If you're not doing this, though, I'm going to guarantee you will just get through it and repeat it over and over again. And you won't recognize it. You'll think it's a new problem when it's the same repeated problem. Right? So I hope I convince you. Get your journal. It's a resource for you. Connect with me if you're having any issues, troubles, struggles, any questions that you have in your head that stops you from doing it. Let me know. Someone else might be struggling with it. So, all right. So get your journal. Let's go. We're on this mastery journey. Be relentless about your pursuit for your own sense of mastery. Control that 3-pound mass between your ears. All right. Let's do this.